Just us.
Just us.
Hopes were high for the first game after the All-Star break when the Golden State Warriors were taking on the Boston Celtics. It was supposed to be the return of Stephen Curry after a somewhat extended absence due to runner's knee, and the debut of new member of the crew, Tingus Pingus,
Also known
a.k.a.
as Kristaps.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately...
Well, let's just say, at one point in the game, the Warriors were down by 34 points.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't end quite as dramatically. The Warriors only lost by 11 points.
But they were booty cheeks for 3 quarters.
But basically, like, all the headlines are like, the Warriors got thumped by the Celtics, or like, the Warriors got crushed, or like, you know, various things. And that's because, I mean...
They were written using ChatGPT.
Yeah. But Jaylen Brown had an amazing game.
Who?
Jaylen Brown.
Who?
Brother Jaylen.
Huh. That's the one.
He had a triple-double. I think his third this season.
MashaAllah, brother Jaylen.
He had an outstanding game, and the Warriors made it super easy for him to rack up
Alhamdulillah.
those stats.
Ramadan, triple-double. Love to see it.
Yeah, so, like, we're, you know, low-key rooting for Jaylen.
He's an interesting human being, that guy.
He is.
He's both the smartest and one of the corniest people I've ever seen.
True.
You're correct, that was the initial response. However, I also saw a fair amount of people taking it as a good sign, which I don't think that would have happened unless there was a fourth quarter resurgence from the Warriors. Okay, let's be completely transparent. Third quarter, we were at Chase, and we were like, let's go home.
It was so bad.
Was
we left
awful.
early, and
We were tired.
we
We
never
weren't
do
feeling
that.
well. Yeah, and it was like, we can either sit here and watch us getting demolished for another quarter, and then it will take an hour and a half for us to get home. It will cost $60, or we can just call it now and go. And we decided to call it now and go, which I still maintain is the correct decision. Because we were firmly caught in the Warriors cycle by then, which means I know it as the Warriors cycle because it means there's going to be a fourth quarter slight resurgence. People are going to start hoping and people are going to start believing, and then it's going to end exactly how it was going to end. It very rarely goes the other way. I think the last 1-point victory was a unique situation amongst
And
very
that was
few.
also a game where we were going to leave, and then thankfully we didn't.
I said we should stay.
You said, yeah, and I was like, we should go.
And I said no, I believe.
Wasn't that like 2 weeks ago?
That was like
Last
2
week?
weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it was a completely different situation because it felt like we could be competitive there. I think we all expected a loss against the Boston Celtics, second in the East Conference, behind the Pistons, I believe, on a absolute tear, even without Jason Tatum. But what was rough was there was no fight. It was a thrashing for 3 quarters.
I mean, I thought it was actually pretty close in the first. So the first quarter, what I noticed was the Celtics took a 10-point lead, but the Warriors cut it down to like 4 points by the end of the quarter. It was 36-32 at the end of the first. So I was still feeling pretty good about that. The Celtics had a lot of second chance points, which was one of the reasons the Warriors ultimately lost.
Yes.
Kristaps was subbed in the second quarter, and things kind of started going haywire, I'd say, in the second quarter.
He was
He's
not
rusty.
good.
He's rusty. You know,
he hasn't played in what, like 2 years or something a year or something like that?
He played earlier this season.
Did he?
I think 17
I
games.
saw, I must have misread it because someone's like, yeah, he looks like he hasn't played in 2 years because he basically hasn't.
That might be hyperbole,
Yeah.
but he had one good pass, but then he turned it over. And then there were multiple defensive breakdowns where he wasn't.
He looked
He
lost.
didn't have the right cover.
He looked completely lost.
He did look lost. I mean, the Celtics are a fast-paced team.
Yeah.
And so I think he was struggling to keep up. It's interesting because that's his former team. So him and Al Horford formerly were
They
on the
should know.
Celtics. They should know.
The-
But also 3 out of the 5 starters on the Celtics, I don't think I've ever heard of.
I told you, Home Depot employee, the player that most looks like the Home Depot employee on the opposing team will have a career night.
Exactly.
That's the rule against the Warriors. But the thing that was frustrating was there was a lot of defensive breakdowns, which admittedly, even though Porzingis most people have looked at him as a player and assessed that he will be a good fit for this team. The Warriors have always said that he would be a good fit because they've been targeting him for a while. So you expect him to still nevertheless have a few awkward games, right? The issue was, it wasn't just awkward, it was that he was doing weird things, like chasing guards around when he should have just stayed in the paint. But he was like following people around. He was creating these very clear lanes for Celtics players to just run straight down. And it felt like he looked like he was a player that had not played defense before. He looked like Trae Young on defense.
What's interesting is, one of the reasons they acquired him was that he's a good rim protector. And Draymond has spoke about that, like, post-acquisition. He said that, he needs another helper in the lane. I just didn't maybe see that as much in this first game, in his debut as a Warrior.
A lot more than another help in the lane right now.
Well, Draymond had 0 points. He was 0 of 7.
He was atrocious.
It was really bad.
It was frighteningly bad. Like, if anyone in the front office needed a reason to trade him, holy shit, that was the game. Because my man built a castle with the amount of bricks he was throwing up and looked just completely out of sorts. And Draymond is a fantastic player. Again, respect. We don't win any championships without him. He clearly has that killer instinct. He's a floor general. He's got high IQ. But at the end of the day, when your performance is what happened against the Celtics, it was bad because they were just leaving him open and he wasn't making the shots. Previously, he would make a couple shots.
Would you say then that Kristaps had a better game than him? Kristaps ended up with 12 points, 5 of 9. He had that dunk, and he was -4, but Draymond was -28 in the plus-minus
Draymond basically didn't play the second half.
Right.
And that is a sign. Because, again, I've said this before. When Steph Curry is out, when Jimmy Butler is out, you need a steady hand on the tiller. You need someone who knows the ship, knows how to maneuver it, and can be that captain with a, commanding voice and experience. That should be Draymond Green. He is playing worse than Guy Santos.
We love Guy Santos.
Guy Santos is outplaying Draymond. Again, it's like apples and oranges, but when people like Guy Santos and Pat Spencer are better at controlling, motivating, and guiding the team, that's a problem for Draymond Green. Because then he has really, when he's not having a good game and can't contribute to box scores or plays, and he's also not having a lifting impact on the court, I hate to say it, but you're functionally useless. You're just taking up time and making things easier for the other team, which is what they did. They were leaving him open, and without fail, he missed. Every open 3 shot, he missed. And any sort of, even a slightly contentious pass moment, he failed at.
We talked about this after the game. I think Draymond is a better player when Steph is on the court, when they're there together.
I agree, but also I feel like that's unacceptable now.
Yeah. So the Warriors are 6-11 when Steph is not on the court.
And he won't be on the court for a while yet.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about
his
injury?
they had it's still like runner's knee, effectively. He was supposed to come back against the Celtics. That was the reason he did not play in the All-Star game. He didn't do anything other than a 3-point shot from the commentator's box, it went straight in and was pretty incredible.
It was the most entertaining thing about
It's the best
All-Star
thing
weekend.
that happened. Yeah, he just casually lobbed a pass and everyone was like, hell yeah, brother. That was the best part. But he didn't play with the hopes where he would come back against the Celtics. However, there were complaints that he didn't scrimmage the day before the game, which is where Porzingis did scrimmage, and they determined he's ready to roll for a certain amount of minutes. He did not scrimmage. They did some more tests on him and confirmed the injury is still there. There's no structural damage. It just seems to be inflammation and a nagging pain. And the assessment based on the medical team and what Steve Kerr has indicated is he just needs time. He needs more time. And so he's going to be reevaluated in 10 days, which we did the calculations, and it should be around 5 games.
Yeah, so he'll miss the next 5. And this is a super important stretch because based on the standings, if we don't do well the next 5 games, we're going to slip.
And if we had Steph and did well these next 5 games, let's say won them, would be in a strong playoff position.
Yeah, right now we're still in the 8th seed, 29 and 27. So above 500, but,
Barely.
we're 3 games behind Phoenix, and the Clippers are only a game and a half behind us. So very tight.
So what we're relying on now is Steph takes his time and recovers in those 10 days. And meanwhile,
Who needs to step up?
who needs to step up? Draymond Green needs to step up or be the smart person and step out. Like, step out of the way. He said it before, he's happy coming off the bench. He needs to make that executive decision and tell the team, the coaching team, I will come off the bench. Because people have said it before, Steve Kerr is loyal to the veterans to a fault at times. And I just don't think he wants to bench Draymond. I think Draymond needs to be the person who he keeps indicating he is. And if he feels like he's not got it, get out of the way. I think he needs to step up. I think Moody needs to step up. Moody, unfortunately, he's too streaky. He's very similar to Buddy Hield. He's streaky, and I described it earlier as it feels like every time he gets the ball, he becomes less athletic by an increment. As the game goes on, he just seems to get, and I'm not just talking about he's tired. It's like he's not moving properly. And then every now and then he'll have a good game. He needs to be there. He needs to be available to shoot well and defend. Because when he does, the team wins. Pods needs to step up. Kristaps everyone needs to step up.
Those 2 players, Moody and Pods, I feel like can be difference makers, but they're just so inconsistent at the end of the day that if they have an off game, it's going to be off.
It has a drag down effect on people.
Both Moody and Pods were shooting air balls in the 3rd quarter.
Some real nasty air
balls. It was really embarrassing.
I will admit there were some shots where I had my head in my hands.
Yeah.
I was just I was like, oh.
You were beside yourself.
I was like, give me the ball. I can shoot better than that. Just chuck it up to me. I guarantee you I'll make at least one of them. But the problem with Moody being bad is he has a dragging effect on everyone else who are, on paper, not as good as him. People like Pat Spencer, for example, Guy Santos, technically not as experienced as Moody, but working their arse off, creating opportunities that Moody then doesn't take advantage of.
Exactly.
And as time goes by, that has a negative effect on those players because it makes them second guess. Like if Guy Santos keeps passing to Moody and Moody keeps bricking it, at a certain point, you've got to imagine Guy's holding the ball and is like, if I pass it to him, he's going to brick it again. Like it has that drag down effect on him where your ball handlers suddenly start losing faith. And you can see it happen in the game where it's like the ball starts moving weirdly and people are just passing it back and forth until someone decides, all right, I'm just going to take it. So he needs to step up because he is going to end up dragging the team. And he can. Like when he plays well, he plays extremely well. Like he can, like that 1-point game that we won by, he was a big part of that comeback. But yeah, Draymond everyone needs to step up. But those in particular, Pods needs to definitely sort his life out. I was hoping he'd come back post, because he did this one before, I can't remember his last season, the season before that. Post All-Star break, he came back and he was good. But this time, no.
I think Pods was actually okay last night. He had 11 points. He was 5 of 8. He was also contributing, he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, no turnovers. I feel like that's a better stat line than many of the other players last night.
The bright spot was Al Horford.
Yeah.
And DeAnthony Melton's good as well, but DeAnthony Melton is, again, he's a gear in the machine where if he's driving, which he does a lot, and drawing people in or like going for it, he's the only one doing that.
Al Horford was only 2 of 10, so he needs to improve his shooting.
Yes.
But I feel like, from a directing other players from a defensive standpoint, he was grabbing rebounds, and we were out rebounded, I feel like, for most of the game. The Celtics got, in some cases, they got their own offensive rebound like 5 times.
Yeah.
Which at that point you're guaranteed to make a bucket.
And there was a lot of defensive breakdowns on the Warriors team where you could see Jalen just grab the ball and basically run in a straight line.
Yeah.
And
lots of layups.
Yeah. There was no players on his path. And not like he was doing tricksy things or anything. No, he's just dribbling the ball in a straight line or dribbling the ball with a slight curve to the line. And people are like turning and looking at him doing it because they're so out of position. That needs to stop.
Yeah. What I really didn't like about the game is that this is going to be probably one of the best games of Jalen Brown's season. Sorry, so many Jalen's to keep track
Mashallah.
of. Jalen Brown's season. And you hate to see another player have like a career night against the Warriors. So, but it always happens.
I mean, he's got the Ramadan power up.
He
so,
does.
You know, good for him.
Should we talk about boobies and butthole?
Yeah. Boobies was, I mean, that final quarter signs of life were encouraging to a degree. I think that was good. I like where Al Horford is. I hope that the team around him can fix up a bit to make the most of that. But I'll definitely Steph being out for another 10 days.
Yeah. I think similarly, Steph being out is definitely a butthole for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just Draymond's play or lack of leadership and motivation to pump up the other guys, I'm concerned by that.
Yeah.
I think boobies for me, the fourth quarter resurgence for sure, and also the snack that we got. We got red vines.
That's dire.
It kept me going. You know, that red 40, like
I
really.
realized yesterday there's like a really nasty like wax film on red vines.
Yeah. It's so good
that
that they're so good.
Okay.
We ate the whole pack.
Actually, I threw
by
it
the
away
third-
a bunch of them.
Oh no! When I went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was like, she's probably not gonna realize I'm chucking these away because they're bad
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. Okay. So those were the highlights for me.
Your highlights were red vines.
Really goes to show where we are with the Warriors right now. What's the next game we have coming up? It's
Unfortunately, we have Jokic
Denver Nuggets
and the Nuggies on
Sunday.
the Sunday.
Sunday showdown.
Ooh.
I'm nervous about
I saw
that.
a clip of Jokic foul baiting from half court yesterday, and he's gonna work some of that nonsense on us so much. But you never know. Maybe like there's a bounce back game here. They figure out some stuff with Tingus Pingus and Al Horford, and maybe Moody and Pods look in the mirror, and Draymond has a come to Draymond moment, and we get a surprise victory out of it.
Also, just a fun fact: we keep referring to Kristaps as Tingus Pingus because of a meme that
Came from the worst source.
yeah.
I don't even want to say who
we
it's
don't
from.
have to say who it's
But
from.
it's who the hell is Tingus Pingus? It's basically after
Exactly.
he
So
was drafted.
that's why we're referring to him as that. That was a quote after he was drafted, and no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
Which is great. And now
They
he's
call
on our
him
team,
the Unicorn. That's his actual nickname.
which is so weird. Like
I don't
the
like it.
unicorn. Why?
I
He's
don't
not.
like it.
He's not
It's very-
acting like a
It's
unicorn.
got very My Little Pony
A
energy.
unicorn is like a mythical, magical like thing. Like he needs to prove that he's a unicorn again.
He's a 7-foot white guy. Okay, it's close enough.
I like Wemby's alien. I think
Yeah,
that's cool.
I like Wemby a lot.
We like Wemby, but not when he's playing against us.
No.
Okay, well we'll see you on Sunday for the recap. Just us on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Just us.